Where did you find that, Missy?
It was just in the old photo album, Grandma. We weren't snooping, I swear.
Yeah, it fell out when we were looking through Grandpa's stuff. We didn't mean...
Give it here.
The hurried shuffle of feet filled the room as Missy quickly closed the distance, the fragile photograph trembling slightly in her hands. She placed it gently into her grandmother's waiting grasp. The older woman's fingers lingered over the edges of the photo, her touch both tender and hesitant, as though the image itself held the weight of 1,000 memories. Her voice, though softened, carried a tension that hinted at a story long kept in the shadows.
Ah, Elliot.
Grandma, who was Elliot and...
It's complicated. Some stories aren't meant to be dug up, children.
But it looks important, Grandma. There's a message on the back. To the love of my life. What does it mean?
Elliot was someone your grandfather loved. Before me. That's all you need to know, Roscoe.
Missy and Roscoe exchange a glance, the sound of a chair scraping as Missy sits beside her.
Grandma, please, we're old enough to understand. You always told us love stories were the best stories. Maybe this one's the best of all.
You're stubborn. Just like him. Fine. But don't interrupt me. This isn't an easy story to tell. Your grandfather and Elliot, they were in love. Deeply, fiercely, beautifully in love. It was the 1970s, and the world was far less understanding than it is today. Love like theirs wasn't just frowned upon, it was dangerous. But even in the shadows, their love shone bright. They met when they were just boys in a little town library. Your grandfather told me how Elliot's laugh could light up the whole room, and how his eyes, oh, how they sparkled when he talked about his dreams. They shared stolen moments, secret notes, and promises whispered under the stars. Elliot painted your grandfather's portrait once, capturing him just as he was. Shy but brave, scared but hopeful. That painting, it was his way of saying, I see you, all of you, and I love you. But life isn't a fairy tale. Elliot got a chance to study art in New York. Your grandfather, he was too afraid to follow. They parted ways, their hearts heavy, their love unresolved. Years later, when Elliot returned as a celebrated artist, their paths crossed again. And this time, they didn't waste a moment. They built a life together, even though the world outside refused to understand.
And you, Grandma?
We had been married for 3 years. Your grandpa told me everything about Elliot and their love for each other. Every laugh, every tear, every kiss they shared. And I loved him more for it. Because love, real love, doesn't erase the past. It honors it.
Then, what happened?
What happened? Life happened. Elliot was sick. Cancer. Your grandfather, he took care of him until the very end.
And you were okay with that?
Weren't you jealous or hurt?
Jealous. Hurt. When you truly love someone, you do whatever it takes to keep loving them, even if it means sharing a part of their heart with someone else. I didn't see Elliot as a threat. I saw him as someone who gave your grandfather something I never could. A love that taught him how to be himself. And I loved him for that. Elliot's memory isn't a shadow on our love. It's part of its foundation. Loving your grandfather meant loving all of him, even the parts shaped by Elliot.
Grandma, you're amazing.
No, darling. I'm just someone who knows that love, real love, doesn't end. It grows, it changes, but it never ends. Cancer took Elliot too soon, but what remained was your grandfather's heart. a heart that still held love.
So you were okay sharing Grandpa's heart?
Sharing? Oh no, Roscoe. I didn't share it. Elliot was a part of his heart, just as I was. It wasn't about division, it was about addition. Your grandfather loved me in his own way, just as he loved Elliot. And I loved him for all of it, for being the man who could carry so much love, even when the world tried to make him small. And do you know what? Loving your grandfather has been the greatest privilege of my life, because through him, I learned that love isn't about possession. It's about freedom, trust, and acceptance. Now, every time I see that photograph, I don't feel sadness. I feel gratitude. Gratitude for the love your grandfather had with Elliot. Gratitude for the love he gave me. And gratitude for the love I see in you two, ready to grow and bloom in your own time.
Grandma, thank you for telling us, for loving the way you do.
Yeah. Thanks, Grandma.
She looks at Missy and Roscoe, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears, a tender smile on her face.
Come on, my loves. Let's put that picture back where it belongs and make some cocoa. Love stories like this deserve a warm ending, don't you think?
Grandmother gazes at the photo.
You see, my loves, life isn't about perfect love stories. It's about the messy, imperfect ones. The ones that teach us to forgive, to share, to understand. Love isn't always what we expect it to be, but it's always what we need. All I needed was to love him.
All You Need Is, a podcast where the heart finds its voice through enchanting romance stories. Join me as we explore the timeless power of love, weaving together tales that spark joy, nostalgia, unspoken desires, a warmth that makes your heart flutter, and the sweet magic of love that transcends time. From the first blush of infatuation to the comfort of lasting connections. Prepare to be swept off your feet as we delve into the intricacies of relationships, celebrate love in all its forms, and remind you that, at the end of the day, all you need is. Podcast conceptualized and created by Nazar Partiwala using 11 Labs.
Tune in and let your heart be your guide.